ICAC busts illegal football gambling syndicate. Mu씬 residential fire kills 1 and injures 3. Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. The Independent Commission Against Corruption and the police have jointly dismantled an illegal football betting syndicate, arresting 19 people, including coaches and players from the First Division Football League. They are suspected of manipulating players to fix matches and profiting from illegal betting. One of the coaches arrested is understood to be Lo Kuan Yi, a former Hong Kong international player and Footballer of the Year. Gloria Feng reports.
The ICAC and the police say this illegal betting syndicate has been operating for 2 to 3 years, receiving over $6 million in bets. Those arrested are aged between 22 and 58, involving 4 local football teams. 2 are coaches, one for a First Division team and the other for a Hong Kong Premier League U22 team. 7 players have been arrested. 6 of them came from 3 First Division teams. The remaining individuals include gamblers, a housewife, and a driver. On Tuesday, the ICAC and police raided a football club's office in Mong Kok, as well as several residences, seizing $120,000 in suspected gambling proceeds, along with mobile phones and tablets containing records of illegal betting and transfers. The investigation reveals the syndicate instructed young players to fix matches in local football games, involving at least 5 matches over the past 2 seasons. Some players were also involved in illegal betting, receiving bets on local and World Cup matches. The ICAC and the police say those arrested include the group's leaders and key members, and the syndicate has been successfully dismantled. The Football Association says it has zero tolerance for any involvement in match fixing and illegal gambling, and is fully cooperating with the investigations. The association adds it will continue to uphold the principles of integrity and fairness to ensure the smooth running of leagues across all divisions. Gloria Feng, TVB News.
A fire in Mu씬 kills 1 woman and injures 3 others. Initial investigation shows a short circuit to be the cause of the blaze. Mimosa Ngai reports.
This video captures the moment when plumes of black smoke coming from the building. Firefighters put out the blaze with a fire hose. Burn and charred marks are left on the exterior wall of the building, while the window frame of the affected unit becomes deformed. This was Valiant caught on Peace Avenue, Muschien, and the blaze broke out at around 10 a.m. on Friday. About 30 residents were evacuated from the fire. The fire was extinguished after 2 hours, and authorities rescued 2 women from the unit, one found unconscious. The 50-year-old woman was sent to Kwong Hwa Hospital for treatment and was later pronounced dead. Another 2 residents from the 14th floor were also sent to the hospital. Mimosa Ngai, TVB News.
More than 3/4 of the owners of the only unaffected building, Wan Chi House in the Tai Po fire, are accepting the government's acquisition proposal and are confirming their intention to sell their properties. Deputy Financial Secretary Michael Wong says 77% of owners have confirmed their intention to sell their properties. The acquisition price and the exchange arrangements are the same as the other 7 blocks of the One for Court, which is $8,000 per square foot for flats with unpaid land premium and $10,500 per square foot for flats with paid land premium. Afterwards, they can choose to take the cash to purchase a new property or exchange their property for a new one under a special sales scheme for subsidized flats. 2 more earthquakes hit Japan, this time striking prefectures near Tokyo. The Japan Meteorological Agency did not issue a tsunami warning following the quakes. The 5.8 magnitude trembler occurred at around noon Friday at a depth of about 50 kilometers, measuring a 4 on Japan's seismic intensity scale of 7 in the hardest hit areas of Ibaraki and Chiba prefectures. The weather agency says the tremors were strongly felt in Tokyo. A less intense 4.1 magnitude earthquake has also been recorded in southern Ibaraki prefecture, with tremors also clearly felt in the country's capital. And still ahead, Florida Immigration Detention Center criticized for its conditions ceases operation. UK royals disclose personal tax bill for the first time in a move to enhance transparency. And UN evacuation pauses following reports of shots fired in Strait of Hormuz. Welcome back. A new study finds the record-breaking heat scorching Europe day and night this month would not have been possible without climate change. The World Weather Attribution Rapid Study finds the heat would have been virtually impossible just 5 decades ago and is 200 times more likely today than it would have been 20 years ago.
So we found that in the last 50 years since a previous heat wave affected Europe in 1976, that the chance of a heat wave like this has gone from almost impossible to something that we'd expect to see every couple of decades. And as the climate continues to warm, we will see events like this increasingly frequently. And in a future climate, this may be something that we expect to be commonplace.
This week, weather agencies across Europe have issued red alerts about heat risks, and sporting events, schools, public transportation and attractions have been limited. Many of these countries do not have widespread air conditioning or other infrastructure to account for warmer climates. France recorded its hottest day ever this week and has also reported 40 deaths from drownings as people seek cooling relief. Britain's King Charles III reveals his personal tax bill, becoming the first British monarch to do so in a move that comes amid demands for greater transparency in royal finances. Following controversies involving his brother, the former Prince Andrew, Prince William also discloses his personal filings. At the same briefing, royal officials say Charles and Queen Camilla would not make the Buckingham Palace their residence following a costly decade-long renovation. Gloria Fang has the story.
King Charles III becomes the first British monarch to reveal the taxes he pays to the government. The king paid £12.9 million in income and capital gains tax in the 2024-25 fiscal year, up from £11.7 million the previous year. Also making public his personal tax bill for the first time is Prince William. The Prince of Wales paid £7.76 million, down from £8.34 million the previous tax year, his office says. The announcements come as the royal family attempts to shift the narrative after months of embarrassing headlines about the ties between former Prince Andrew, now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The public's focus on Mountbatten Windsor has overshadowed the king's efforts to modernize the monarchy. Another move to modernize was the royal family's decision to pour £369 million into renovating the Buckingham Palace in hopes of increasing public access to the historic building that has been at the center of royal life for close to 2 centuries. The palace was the late Queen Elizabeth II's primary residence until 2020, when she relocated to Windsor Castle during COVID. Charles and Queen Camilla, however, will not be calling the palace home after the costly revamp. Instead, royal officials say the king and queen will continue to work out of the palace, which remains the ceremonial and operational center of the monarchy. For the rest of Charles's reign, the couple will reside in nearby Clarence House. The pair also spends time at their country escape, Sandringham House in Norfolk. Gloria Fang, TVB News.
A United Nations agency pauses the evacuation of ships through the Strait of Hormuz after the British military said a vessel was hit by a projectile off the coast of Oman following the passage of several tankers that used a route backed by the UN. Meanwhile, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency say initial negotiations for inspections of Iran's nuclear facilities are underway. Daniel Rao tells us more.
The head of the International Maritime Organization says the plan to move stranded ships out of the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz will be on hold until the agency can confirm safety guarantees for the ships on the evacuation list and in the region. The reports of a strike came hours after Iran threatened vessels to stop using the route through the strait without permission. The UN says the vessel that was attacked was not part of the evacuation effort. Following reports of the attack, Iran's Persian Gulf Strait Authority, a new government agency established to control shipping in the strait, said transit outside its own designated routes will not be covered by the guarantee of safe passage. The UK Maritime Trade Operations Centre says the vessel sustained damage, but it reports no injuries or environmental effects from the attack off the coast of Oman. The opening of an alternative passage through the vital waterway would relieve pressure on the world economy and remove Iran's main source of leverage in ongoing peace talks with the US. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, on a visit to the Gulf to reassure American allies, says Washington was committed to the new route and ensuring ships are able to transit the strait. Meanwhile, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency says initial negotiations for inspections of Iran's nuclear facilities are underway.
We had an initial exchange with the Iranian side at technical level, and the expectation is that this process will continue. You may remember that the negotiators themselves, and we are not a party to the negotiation, we are supposed to be inspecting the nuclear part, but they have established like an executive committee or supervisory committee, which will include technical working groups, including one on nuclear. So there is some process that they are trying to define to channel the discussions within this 60-day period that they have given to themselves.
Daniel, LTV News.
In the US, a controversial immigration detention center built in the Florida swamps known as Alligator Alcatraz is being shut down permanently after nearly a year of operation. This as the US Supreme Court allows the Department of Homeland Security to grant temporary protected status for migrants fleeing violence and natural disaster in Haiti and Syria. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced Thursday that the makeshift facility heralded by the Trump administration has served its purpose. DeSantis says Alligator Alcatraz, which opened in 2025, was always meant to be only temporary until more permanent centers could be secured.
Alligator Alcatraz fulfilled the role that it was designed to serve. Today it now has 0 detainees.
The governor says the airstrip in the heart of the Florida Everglades the center was built around will continue to be used. U.S. President Donald Trump has noted the detention center was crucial to Republican efforts to send illegal immigrants back to their home countries. DeSantis boasts 21,000 people were deported through the facility.
There's no question that this mission has made the state of Florida safer.
The shutdown comes just weeks after an evacuation of detainees to other detention facilities amid fears the tent-based complex would not withstand hurricane season. Detainees have moaned about their difficulty getting food, toilets that didn't flush, filthy floors, as well as insects, including mosquitoes, inside the facility. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court hands the Trump administration a second win Thursday in a 6-3 decision, clearing the way for the revival of the policy restricting Haitians and Syrians seeking asylum. The swift end of TPS, a program that protects a total of 1.3 million people from 17 countries, could expose hundreds of thousands more people to potential deportation. In Springfield, Ohio, Viles Dawsonville, who runs a support center for Haitians, says this creates panic as people in the community are wondering about their next steps. New York Governor Kathy Hochul publicly slams the court ruling, saying enough is enough. She says the decision will have severe consequences for the state's economy and healthcare system. And New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani also vows the Democrat-led city will fight back.
This is a city where we look out for our neighbors, where we don't let those who are afraid of what makes this city great try to divide us, where we reject a politics of fear. Now, they may traffic in cruelty, yet we will lead with something even more powerful than that.
China delivers a statement on behalf of nearly 20 countries at the UN Human Rights Council to condemn the practice of unilateral tariff under the pretext of forced labor. China's permanent representative and ambassador to the UN office at Geneva, Jia Guide, says the countries firmly oppose forced labor, but they are also seriously concerned about the imposition of additional duties on economies on the basis of unilateral accusations alleging a failure to curb imports of goods produced with so-called forced labor. The statement emphasized that China urges relevant countries to refrain from weaponizing human rights. The joint statement was co-sponsored by Russia, Pakistan, Venezuela, Sudan and Cambodia, among others. President Xi Jinping meets with Bangladesh's Prime Minister Tariq Rahman on the South Asian country leader's official visit in Beijing. The trip is Rahman's first overseas visit since taking office. Rahman says the two sides had signed several agreements during his talks with Premier Li Qiang on Thursday. Rahman strongly affirmed Bangladesh's support for China's position on Taiwan, saying China's red line is also our red line. Also on Friday, Xi met with Cambodia's Senate President Hun Sen. Xi said China and Cambodia should work together to inject more stability into regional peace and development. The president also praised Cambodia's efforts in cracking down on telecoms and online fraud. The government plans to increase non-doctor members of the Medical Council as part of its proposed reforms to improve transparency of patients' complaints. Mo Sang-ai reports.
The existing Medical Council consists of 32 members, 24 are doctors and 8 non-doctor medical practitioners. Under the proposed amendment, the chief executive will appoint another 3 lay members to the council, raising the non-doctor number to 11 and representation to 31%. But the number of doctors in the council will stay the same. The measure aims to enhance the council's professional diversity. To improve transparency and effectiveness of the mechanism of patients' complaints, the government calls for the establishment of a new medical investigation unit and medical tribunal to replace the preliminary investigation committee and inquiry panels. The number of independent adjudicators will increase from 140 to 280. Authorities will request the council to set up time indicators at different stages of a case investigation as a means of speeding up the process. Such a measure is expected to cut down each case handling time from an average of 42 to 29 months. A 4-tier penalty mechanism will be set up for convicted doctors, and complainants will have the opportunity to appeal against the council's decision, an existing right given only to doctors who are guilty of professional misconduct. Speaking to the media, Secretary for Health Lo Chong-mao says it is necessary to maintain a strong representation of doctors because the council doesn't simply handle complaints. Lo says the proposal will go to the Legislative Council for its first reading on July 8. Mums 9, TVB News.
The observatory raised the amber and red rainstorm signals around lunchtime today. The observatory issued the red rainstorm signal at 12:15 p.m. After about an hour, the signal was cancelled and replaced by an amber one. The lesser signal was lifted at 2 p.m. Weather authorities say the showery conditions will last at least until the weekend. The 6th Hong Kong Brands and Products Shopping Festival kicks off at Asia World Expo. The organizer introduces a new trendy sports zone and a new Southeast Asia food zone. Kelly Law has more.
3, 2, 1!
Featuring more than 260 booths across 19 zones, this year's Hong Kong Brands and Products Shopping Festival offers visitors a diverse array of choices. Nearly 100 selected items are available at massive discounts, with prices slashed by as much as 90%, and some products selling for $1. Daily special promotions are available, such as free drinks and lucky draws. The Vice President of the Chinese Manufacturers Association of Hong Kong, Ivan Shi, says they are expecting 60,000 visitors and about $60 million in sales. While it's the first day of the shopping festival, this vendor says he's still waiting for the crowd to pick up. He's concerned the rain might dampen attendance as the venue is quite far from the city. Catering to evolving consumer preferences, the exhibition is also collaborating with e-commerce platforms to deliver online exclusive promotions. The event will run for 4 days, opening from 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, except on the last day, which will close at 5:30 p.m. Free shuttle services from Tsuen Wan and Tuen Mun to the venue, along with complimentary direct bus X1 from Tuen Chong, are available. Kelly Law, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.